Roy Sterling pulled his car into the driveway of his villa, the headlights cutting through the gloom of the overcast night. As the engine idled, he noticed a figure standing beneath the dim, flickering light of the street lamp near the gate. It was Lucas. Roy rolled down the window, a frown creasing his forehead as he looked at the man shivering in the cold. "Lucas? What are you doing here?" The man at the gate was dressed in a white wool sweater that did little to block the biting wind. He stood tall and handsome, exuding an air of gentle refinement, but his eyes lit up with a spark of surprise when he saw Roy. I called you," Lucas said, his voice trembling slightly. "You didn't pick up." He lowered his gaze to look at Roy inside the car, his eyelashes fluttering nervously like the wings of a moth. Roy pulled out his phone and glanced at the screen. Indeed, there was a missed call. He must have been drinking at the Golden Lounge at the time and hadn't heard the ringtone over the noise. "Sorry, I didn't hear it ring," Roy said, his voice flat. He opened the car door and stepped out into the chill air. "It's freezing out here. Let's go inside." Lucas nodded obediently, following Roy up the path like a lost puppy. Inside, Roy collapsed onto the living room sofa, rubbing his temples in exhaustion. The alcohol from earlier was still buzzing in his system, making his head spin unpleasantly. He looked up at Lucas, his tone casual and distant. "So, why did you come over?" Lucas's eyes dimmed for a moment before he lowered them. "I just got back to the States. It's been so long since we've seen each other. I wanted to see you." Roy nodded slowly, fighting the dizziness. "How is life abroad? I heard you're planning to stay in the country now." Lucas sat down next to him, his eyes filled with adoration, but the man he was looking at didn't return the gaze. "My family wants me to stay. And I want to stay here too." "That's good," Roy said, ignoring the subtext. "Plenty of time to catch up later. Next time, we'll call Quinn and the others and grab dinner together." Lucas bit his lip, sensing the dismissal. "Roy, it's late," Roy said, his voice leaving no room for argument. "I'll have the driver take you home." "But I drank a bit too much today," Roy interrupted, standing up. "I can't drive you myself." Hearing the finality in his tone, Lucas couldn't find the words to continue. His eyes grew misty, tears threatening to spill over. Seeing this, Roy sighed softly. He patted Lucas on the back, his voice lowering but remaining firm. "Look, it's late. You just got back, you need to rest. Whatever it is, we can talk about it later." Lucas forced back his tears, his heart filled with unwillingness. But the man before him remained impervious to his gentle affection. With a polite but unyielding firmness, Roy escorted him out and put him into the waiting car. The intern assessment period lasted a week. Justin Vance, being in a different department, wasn't involved in the process, but seeing Gavin's confident demeanor, he could guess the outcome. When the results came in, there were no surprises. Gavin had successfully passed the internship assessment. He was ecstatic, insisting on treating Justin and their colleague Lisa to dinner. Lisa was thrilled that Gavin was staying, joking that the office would now have two handsome men permanently installed for her viewing pleasure. It was close to Christmas, and the streets were bustling. Shop windows were adorned with twinkling lights and tinsel, giving the city a rich, festive atmosphere. The three of them chose a popular hot pot restaurant. The place was noisy, filled with steam and the clatter of chopsticks. "When do you go back to school?" Lisa asked as they settled into a corner booth. "Next week," Gavin replied, dipping a piece of beef into the bubbling broth. "I have a few practical courses next semester, but I'll be back for good after my thesis defense in June." "Wow, so we won't see you for 6 months?" Lisa said, feigning disappointment. "Not quite," Gavin said with a smug grin. "I applied to the company to intern 2 days a week next semester until I officially start." Justin looked up, surprised. "Do you get paid for that weekly internship?" "Yeah, but it's peanuts." "Basic daily wage," Gavin shrugged. "That sounds exhausting," Justin said, concern knitting his brow. "Don't you have classes?" "Not many." "I have time," Gavin said, his eyes locking onto Justin's. "Besides, I couldn't bear not seeing you guys for 6 months." "I couldn't bear it either." Lisa laughed, nudging Justin. "Once you leave, the office only has Justin's face to look at. I've been staring at him for over a year. I'm bored of it. We finally got a fresh, handsome guy. We can't let you run away." Gavin laughed. "Same here. Once I go back to school, where will I find a beauty like you, Lisa?" "Oh, stop it," Lisa giggled, cupping her face. Don't call me a beauty. You'll make me blush. Justin couldn't stand their mutual flattery any longer. He handed them the menu. I ordered the basics. You two see if there's anything else you want. Lisa immediately abandoned the handsome intern to focus on the food. Justin watched her with a smile, shaking his head. Time flew by, and soon the end of the year approached. Justin began preparing for the holidays. Even though he would be spending the new year alone, he felt the need to maintain some semblance of tradition. He went to the supermarket, pushing a cart toward the snack aisle. His pantry was empty and needed restocking. He tossed several bags of chips into the cart, then picked out packages of sunflower seeds, almonds, and pecans. Nuts were a holiday essential, even if he didn't particularly like them. He found them too much work to chew. He moved to the dairy section and grabbed a gallon of milk. A promoter offered him a sample cup of yogurt. He tasted it, liked it, and added a tub to his cart. He skipped the vegetable section. Buying greens now would mean they'd wilt before the holiday, and went straight to the meat counter. The line for fresh cuts was long, so he settled for pre-packaged ribs and chicken wings, planning to make sweet and sour ribs and cola chicken for his solo New Year's Eve dinner. After spending 2 hours in the crowded market, dealing with the noise of shouting vendors and haggling shoppers, Justin finally returned home. He put the snacks in the cupboard, the milk in the fridge, and the meat in the freezer. Dusting off his hands, he surveyed his small living room. It felt cluttered. On a whim, he decided to do a deep clean. He gathered all the plush toys scattered around and bagged them for the dry cleaners. As he took down a plushie hanging on the wall, he noticed the photo wall behind it. Dozens of frames of varying sizes covered the wall. There were photos of Justin with his toys, photos from trips, and candid shots he had taken of Roy. Roy cooking, Roy cleaning, Roy sleeping. He hadn't looked at these photos in a long time. Seeing them now brought a sudden, sharp ache to his chest. He realized he should have dealt with them long ago. He took the frames down one by one, revealing the small nail holes in the plaster. He remembered when he first wanted to hang them. Roy had tried to stop him, saying it would ruin the wall. Justin had insisted, saying the frames would cover the holes anyway. Now, staring at the scarred wall, he felt it looked ugly. He tried to find solo photos of himself to replace the ones of Roy, but after rummaging through his albums, he realized almost all his photos had been taken by Roy. Frustrated, Justin threw all the photos and frames into a cabinet and slammed it shut. He left the wall bare, the nail holes exposed. Let it be ugly, he muttered to the empty room. A few days later, the interns began to leave one by one. The atmosphere in the company relaxed significantly. Everyone was slacking off, their minds already on the upcoming holiday. Justin attended the final company dinner before the break. Attendance was mandatory. It was held at the Four Seasons Pavilion, and his department filled a large private room. Because Justin rarely joined these gatherings, his colleagues used it as an excuse to toast him repeatedly. After a few glasses, Justin felt the alcohol hitting him. He waved his hand, signaling he couldn't drink anymore, and excused himself to the restroom to escape. He splashed cold water on his face, trying to catch his breath. He planned to wait a few minutes before returning, or he'd surely end up drunk. Justin, are you okay? Gavin walked into the restroom, standing by the sink with a look of concern. I'm fine. Just hiding from the alcohol, Justin said, pulling a paper towel to dry his face. If they try to make you drink again, I'll drink it for you, Gavin offered. He had been trying to block drinks for Justin all night, but Justin had refused. No way. With your tolerance, 1 glass, and you'd be under the table. Justin laughed. I don't want to have to carry you home. Lisa isn't helping either, Gavin grumbled. She keeps egging them on. She just wants to see me make a fool of myself, Justin smiled. We'll make her drink when we get back. Just then, the restroom door opened, and another man walked in. He was wearing a perfectly tailored suit that accentuated his broad shoulders and long legs. His features were sharp, his eyes cold. Justin's smile vanished instantly. Roy Sterling looked Gavin up and down, then turned his frown upon Justin. The two stared at each other in silence. Gavin, sensing the sudden drop in temperature, looked between them in confusion. Do you guys know each other? Justin looked away. Let's go back. Okay. Gavin nodded and moved to leave. Roy stood in the doorway, blocking their path. Excuse me, Gavin said politely. Roy stepped aside, letting Gavin pass, But as Justin walked by, Roy spoke. Justin. Justin paused, but didn't turn around. Here with friends? Roy asked. Company dinner, Justin replied, his voice devoid of emotion. Put it on my tab when you check out, Roy said. No need, Justin refused. Roy frowned. Justin, my colleagues are waiting. I'm going back, Justin said, walking away without a backward glance. Back in the private room, Gavin kept stealing glances at Justin. Seeing Justin's face return to normal, he swallowed his curiosity about the man in the restroom. I remember you're a local, right, Gavin? A colleague named Old Joe asked. Yeah, I went to university here too, Gavin said. I envy you, another colleague sighed. I've been pulling my hair out trying to get a train ticket home. Justin, you're not a local, are you? Gavin asked. Justin shook his head. No, I'm from Chicago. Did you get your ticket? Justin pursed his lips. I'm not going home this year. Again? Lisa asked. You didn't go home last year either. Justin smiled thinly but didn't explain. The loneliness in his expression was palpable. Gavin watched him, then spoke up. Justin, why don't you come to my house for New Year's? Huh. Since you're not going home, come to mine. My parents are easygoing, and my mom's cooking is amazing. That wouldn't be right. Justin declined gently. It's a family time. I'm used to being alone. I'll come visit after the holidays to taste your mom's cooking. Gavin wanted to insist, but Justin's refusal was firm. After the dinner, Justin called a designated driver. Gavin hitched a ride with him, and they walked to the underground parking lot together. Justin, disoriented by the alcohol, couldn't remember where he parked. I think it was over on the east side, Gavin suggested. Which way is east? Justin asked sincerely. Gavin pointed. That way. Justin looked in the direction Gavin pointed and saw a car parked nearby. Two men were standing against it. The slightly shorter man was leaning into the taller man's embrace, his arms wrapped tightly around the taller man's waist. Justin narrowed his eyes. Gavin saw them too. He immediately looked at Justin. At that moment, the shorter man looked up, attempting to kiss the other. The taller man, spotting Justin and Gavin, suddenly pushed the shorter man away. The rejected man looked hurt, about to speak, but was cut off. Get in the car. Reluctantly, the shorter man turned and saw Justin standing there. Interrupting something? Justin asked, a cynical smile playing on his lips. Roy looked complicated. What are you doing here? Picking up my car, Justin said. What did you think? Looking for a spot to hook up? Roy's face darkened. Lucas, standing beside Roy, sneered. You must be Justin. And you are? Justin raised an eyebrow. I'm Lucas. You've probably heard of me. Lucas looked at him with disdain. Justin had indeed heard of him. The famous first love. But he didn't intend to chat. He nodded and moved to walk past. Lucas wasn't done. I heard from Roy that you broke up. What a pity. 6 years, wasn't it? Justin stopped. He looked at the silent Roy, then at Lucas. Lucas smiled sweetly at Roy. I'd only heard about Mr. Vance before, never met him. He is certainly better looking than the usual types at the Golden Lounge. Lucas, Roy barked, his voice sharp. Lucas's smile faltered. I'm just saying. I'm not good with words. Don't mind me, Mr. Vance. Justin didn't even twitch. He ignored Lucas's childish provocation completely and walked past them without looking back. Gavin followed, holding his breath. Luckily, Justin's car was just a few rows down. They got in to wait for the driver. Ask whatever you want, Justin said, leaning back and closing his eyes. The guy from the bathroom. And the parking lot. Was that your boyfriend? Gavin asked tentatively. Ex-boyfriend, Justin corrected. Strictly speaking, not even that. You're gay? Gavin asked, eyes wide. Yeah. Gavin was silent for a moment. I thought you were straight. Where did you get that idea? Justin chuckled. You just seemed like it. So you're single now? Yes. Gavin's eyes lit up. I think of you as a younger brother, Gavin, Justin interrupted. I'm only a year younger than you. Still younger. You don't date younger guys? Gavin asked suspiciously. Who said we were dating? Justin laughed. Don't overthink it. Nothing is going to happen between us. I don't have the energy for relationships right now. When will you have the energy? When I meet the right person. Gavin hesitated. Can I be the right person? No, Justin said, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. You're a good kid, Gavin. You'll find someone better. You're just relying on me because I'm familiar in a new environment. That's dependence, not love. I know the difference. Gavin looked like a kicked puppy. He genuinely liked Justin. He didn't know when it started. Maybe the first time they met, or when Justin stood up for him in the manager's office. But Justin's rejection was absolute. The designated driver arrived, breaking the silence. They dropped Gavin off at his apartment complex. Gavin got out without a word, his shoulders slumped in dejection. Justin returned to his dark, cold apartment. He didn't turn on the lights. He sat on the sofa, letting the chill of the empty room seep into his bones. New Year's Eve arrived with a heavy snowfall. The city was blanketed in white. Justin slept in. Every year at this time, his mood plummeted. He had come out to his parents in his freshman year of college. They were traditional, stern people. They would rather have no son than a gay son. He hadn't been home in 5 years. Every holiday, he sent gifts. They never returned them, but they never called either. If he called, they hung up. He stared at his phone, debating whether to call. Finally, he dialed. It rang twice. Then, the line went dead with a soft click. Hung up. He sighed, feeling the familiar sting of rejection. He started preparing his solitary dinner. By the time night fell, 3 dishes and a soup were on the table. He turned on the TV to fill the silence with noise, but he had no appetite. His phone rang. Hello. Justin answered. Happy New Year. You beat me to it. Gavin's energetic voice burst through the speaker. Happy New Year, Justin. Justin smiled involuntarily. Thanks. Did you eat? Yeah. What did you have? Sweet and sour ribs, cola chicken, garlic lettuce, and winter melon soup. No dumplings. I'll boil some at midnight. I haven't wrapped them yet. My mom made 3 kinds of fillings. Sauerkraut and pork, beef, and zucchini and egg. Which one do you like? Zucchini and egg, I guess. Look out your window. Justin paused, walked to the window, and looked down. Under the street lamp, a man in a down jacket was waving frantically, holding a thermos in one hand and a phone in the other. I brought you dumplings. Gavin shouted into the phone. Justin was stunned. He grabbed his keys and ran down the stairs without even putting on a coat. Why are you here? Justin asked, breathless, staring at Gavin in the snow. To bring you food. Gavin noticed Justin shivering. You didn't wear a coat? Are you crazy? He dragged Justin into the building lobby. What floor? 6. In the elevator, Gavin took off his own jacket and draped it over Justin's shoulders. No, you wear it, Justin protested. Keep it on. I don't want you getting sick. Gavin pressed the warm thermos into Justin's hands. Inside the apartment, the warmth returned to Justin's limbs. You shouldn't have come out at this hour. Won't your family be mad? I told them I'd be back before midnight, Gavin said, rubbing his red, frozen hands. Justin poured him a cup of hot water. Did you eat? Yeah. These dumplings are for you. My mom made them. I packed all 3 kinds. Justin opened the thermos. Steam rose up, carrying the savory scent of home cooking. Thank you so much. You can thank my mom later. As they ate, the doorbell rang. Justin froze. Who would come at this hour? He opened the door to find Roy Sterling standing there, radiating a cold, dark energy. What are you doing here? Justin asked, stunned. Who is it? Gavin called from the kitchen. Roy's eyes narrowed. Who is inside? A colleague, Justin said quickly, blocking the view. A colleague? On New Year's Eve, Roy sneered. He pushed past Justin into the living room. Gavin walked out, wiping his hands. He recognized Roy immediately. The air in the room grew heavy. Gavin's phone rang. It was his family urging him to come home. I have to go, Gavin said to Justin, glancing warily at Roy. Don't bother seeing me out. Be safe, Justin said apologetically. When the door clicked shut, Justin turned to Roy. Shouldn't you be at the family mansion? Can't I come here? Roy asked, his voice low and dangerous. I told you, he's just a colleague, Justin said, tired of the jealousy. A colleague who brings you dumplings on New Year's Eve? Roy grabbed Justin's wrist. Justin, we need to talk. There is nothing to talk about. Justin shook him off. Why won't you let me go? What more do you want from me? I can't leave you, Roy said, his voice straining. I promise, I won't get married for a while. I'll handle it. We can go back to how it was. Back to how it was? Justin's eyes reddened. Being your secret? Your toy? I don't want that anymore. I'm done. I apologized. Roy shouted, his temper flaring. He kicked the coffee table, sending it crashing over. What the hell do you want? I want you out of my life. Roy snapped. The frustration of the past months, the pressure from his family, and Justin's rejection boiled over. He grabbed Justin, pinning him to the sofa. Roy, stop. You're crazy, Justin screamed, struggling against Roy's superior strength. You belong to me, Roy growled, forcing a kiss on Justin. Justin bit down hard, drawing blood, but Roy didn't stop. The night descended into chaos. It wasn't love, it was a violent, desperate assertion of control. Justin fought until he had no strength left, tears streaming down his face as Roy stripped him of his dignity. Baby, please don't leave me, Roy whispered against Justin's skin, oblivious to the horror in Justin's eyes. The next morning, Justin woke up in pain. His body ached, and his head throbbed. He dragged himself to the bathroom, washed the shame off his skin, and then walked into the living room. It was a mess. He picked up his phone and dialed 911. Roy was woken up by the police. Get up, an officer barked, standing over the bed. What's going on? Roy mumbled, still groggy. The homeowner reported a break-in and trespassing. Get up. Roy looked at the bedroom door. Justin stood there, holding the property deed. This apartment is in my name. This man entered without my consent. Roy was hauled off to the precinct in handcuffs, still wearing his wrinkled clothes from the night before. He was furious. When his secretary finally bailed him out around noon, Roy wanted to go back to Justin, but his father, Mr. Sterling, summoned him to the main estate immediately. 2 days later, Roy returned to Justin's apartment. He rang the doorbell for 10 minutes. Justin, open the door. I want to apologize. No answer. The elevator dinged. 2 police officers stepped out. You again? The officer sighed. We got a noise complaint and a report of harassment. Roy couldn't believe it. Justin was actually using the police to keep him away. Sir, leave now, or we'll have to arrest you again, the officer warned. Defeated, Roy left. Weeks passed. Justin blocked Roy on everything. One evening after work, Justin's friend Lance called. Let's grab dinner. I'm bored. They met at a Japanese restaurant. While eating sashimi, Justin's phone pinged. A friend request from Chipmunk. Justin rejected it and blocked the account. Ping. Chipmunk 1. Rejected. Blocked. Ping. Chipmunk 2. Who is it? Lance asked, munching on a crab leg. A psycho, Justin muttered, turning his phone off. Is it Roy? I heard he called off the wedding, Lance gossiped. No one knows why. Justin ignored him. The next morning, Gavin brought Justin breakfast. 2 buns and fresh soy milk. My mom made it, Gavin said with a bright smile. Gavin, Justin sighed. I told you. I don't feel that way about you. Is it because of that guy? No. Even without him, we wouldn't work. Gavin looked crushed, but nodded. I need to go to the restroom. He fled the room to hide his tears. A few days later, the delivery started. Flowers. Expensive lunches from the Four Seasons. Afternoon tea sets for the whole office. I gained 3 pounds this week because of you, Lisa complained, shoving a piece of tiramisu into her mouth. Who is this rich suitor? Justin sighed. It was Roy. Finally, Roy showed up at Justin's door again. Justin kept the security chain on. What do you want? To see you, Roy said, looking through the crack. You blocked me. I had no choice. Stop sending stuff to my office. Then quit that job. I'll support you. Go to hell. Justin, Roy said, his voice dropping to a sincere register. I realized something. You said I don't know how to love. Maybe you're right. But I want to learn. If the condition for being with you is loving you, then I will learn how to do it. Justin stared at him. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a desperate determination. It was terrifyingly charming. I reject your offer, Justin said, slamming the door. But his heart was pounding against his ribs. Then came the text messages. I'm sick. I have a fever. I'm dying. Justin rolled his eyes. Go to the hospital. I can't move. Justin ignored him. Suddenly, Justin's own phone rang. It was his mother. Her voice was trembling. Justin, it's your father. He has a tumor. Come home. Justin's world stopped. He booked the first flight to Chicago. When he arrived at the hospital, he was terrified. He hadn't seen his parents in 5 years. He walked into the ward, expecting anger. Instead, he found his parents sitting on the bed, watching a show on an iPad. His mother looked up. Her face hardened. Look who decided to show up. Justin burst into tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't cry. His father grumbled, though his eyes were wet. You finally came back. The tension broke. They were still awkward, but the barrier was down. The next day, Roy walked into the hospital room. Who is this? Justin's mother asked. I'm Roy. Justin's friend, Roy said, flashing a charming smile. He held a basket of expensive fruits. I heard Uncle was sick. Justin dragged Roy into the hallway. How did you find me? I went to your office. The receptionist told me. Roy looked proud of himself. I canceled my meetings to come here. Go back to New York, Justin hissed. No. I'm staying. Roy worked his magic. He charmed Justin's mother with stories about how he and Justin met at Disney World. He used his connections to get Justin's father moved to a VIP private room. Justin's mother was impressed. Your friend is very capable. Justin texted Roy. Did you upgrade the room? Roy. Yeah. I know the hospital director. Justin. Thank you. The surgery was successful. Roy stayed by Justin's side the whole time, holding his hand when the fear became too much. For the first time, Justin let himself lean on Roy completely. Back in New York, life returned to a strange rhythm. Lance and Quinn got married in a small ceremony. At the reception, Justin felt sick. His stomach was turning. Eat this porridge, Roy commanded, holding a spoon. I want lobster, Justin whined. Finish the porridge, and you get one bite of lobster. Justin glared, but opened his mouth. Roy fed him patiently, wiping a drop of gruel from his lip with his thumb. We should get married too, Roy said suddenly. Excuse me. Justin choked. A big wedding. 200 tables. I need to make back all the gift money I've given out over the years. You're insane. I'm serious. I'll go to your parents. I'll propose properly. Justin looked at him. My parents will kill you. I can handle them. However, tragedy struck the Sterling family. Roy's mother committed suicide. Justin rushed to Roy's side. He found Roy sitting on the steps of his villa, head in his hands. She's finally free, Roy whispered. Justin hugged him. He held the broken man, feeling a twisted sense of satisfaction. In this moment of grief, Roy belonged only to him. After the funeral, Roy moved into Justin's small apartment. He brought boxes of clothes and tried to bring his servants, but Justin put his foot down. If you live here, you do chores, Justin said. I own this building, Roy argued. But I have the keys. They fought over dirty dishes. They fought over laundry. But every night, they curled up on the small sofa together. One afternoon, Lucas came to Roy's office. Roy, I can help you with the company, Lucas said, placing a proposal on the desk. My family will support you. We can get married. It makes sense. Roy looked at the proposal, then at Lucas. I already have a partner. Justin. Lucas scoffed. He's nothing. Roy stood up, his eyes cold. He is my lover. Watch your mouth. He ushered Lucas out. Days later, Roy's father, Arthur Sterling, invited Justin to tea. I'm old, Arthur said, pouring tea with a steady hand. Roy is ruthless. More than I ever was. I can't control him anymore. Justin held his cup tightly. Just live a good life with him, Arthur said, sounding tired. Justin left the tea house, feeling lighter than air. He drove toward home, but stopped when he saw Roy's car following him. Roy jumped into Justin's passenger seat. Where were you? You weren't at work. I met your dad. What did he say? Roy asked anxiously. He said to live a good life with you. Roy stared at him. And, do you want to? Justin smiled, leaning in to kiss him. Yes, I do. Roy kissed him back, fierce and possessive. Good. Because I'm never letting you go.